What's up, everybody? Little Big Robots back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about another snapships creation. This one is the mall. I'm not sure that there has been a snapships kit that snapships fans and others have been more excited for. This is probably one of the most exciting ones we've gotten in a long time. You can see why it's not a ship. It's an actual, a robot mech or whatever. So I'm going to go over all of that. Looking at it now, I should have ordered like 10 of these. But the great thing about snapships I've noticed is there's always sales going on. Until now, until recently, they've always been in stock. You can always find them a lot. There was a little bit of delay because of the recent issues at the ports. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to be up on that as a toy person or just somebody who buys things. You need to understand the supply chain and how delicate it is, and it's actually really interesting. And there's a reason why we're getting stuff so late. Go check out some news reports about it. This is the instructions as usual. They're fantastic. I usually use on snapships. Let me see if I can find it here. I use their old poster style checklist like this to keep track of them. But I noticed that one side, of course, is blank. If they printed it on both sides, you'd have room for all of them. But then I was like, why am I doing that? Right on the back of the instruction books, and I have plenty of duplicate instruction books, so I can actually, sacrifice, quote unquote, one of these. And they have all of them literally in a box form that you can just sit there and check them off. What's funny and what is exciting, if you're a Snapships fan, and if you're probably the owners and creators of Snapships, is that this keeps growing. This whole list keeps growing. So it's really, really a very cool. Is that not focusing? This camera is funny. It tries when you get really close. It tries to go to a micro. Basically, it goes to an ultra wide camera to get a good view, and it works pretty well. You can see it's pretty cool. But sometimes it has some finickiness. Let's see if I can get that to edit to focus. Oh, look, there you go. Pretty good. So this is the mall. The mall is basically, like I said, it's a mech. There are two other designs that they recommend in this instruction book that you can build if you'd like. Let me see, get a little more light in here. I don't really care to do the other two designs. I built them and I didn't like them, so I'm just showing this one here. Too many guns for my taste. I'm not a gun person. I'll take probably these off the arms or whatever, but it is a space combat-y mech looking thing, which is fantastic. Another thing that's happening lately with Snapships is that they are doing, they're really, really conscious, it seems like lately, of the greeble situation, meaning that on a ship, on one of the spaceships of Snapships, you're going to have a lot of this kind of blank area. Where am I going to find like that? That is the generic universal Snapships joint. That's what it's really known for, and that right there is what you plug in. You can see you can plug it in different directions. So, but that is exposed on some designs, similar to how you'll have Lego bumps, exposed in some Lego builds. For example, the new AT-AT, not AT-AT, it's the AT-AT. From Star Wars, AT-AT set in Star Wars is huge, and it has a bunch of visible bumps, the Lego bumps, and people didn't like that. I personally think it's great because you want it to look like what it is, which is a Lego set. But on this build, on a spaceship, those exposed areas look fine because it looks kind of like a spaceship's infrastructure you'd see. Nowadays, they're not always solid. If you look at the ISS, and you're going to see some kind of, grid work and stuff like that. On this, which is not a spaceship, wise enough, you don't want that exposed. But that's a good point or area to plug your stand into, so they need to leave that exposed. You could easily just put a greeble there. So on this one, they're really, really conscious of, as you can tell, covering every little area with really, really cool new greebles. As I get more and more of these kits, it's driving me more and more insane, though, that I need to be washing and or painting some of these kits. These would look so great, the details would look so great if they had a little bit of a wash. That guy was in there, the pilot, really, really small. Sorry, dropped there. Let me show you the pilot. The little figures are really cool. I mean, my light is just not working for me today, is it? Oops. I'm always changing my setup. Pretty cool looking, but I would like to see a couple more, you know, size different ones. There's a couple ones that are like rock men or whatever, and so they're a little bit different, but I'd like to see some different variation. Now, granted, each model itself is really, really well done and individually designed. They're really nicely done, but it would just be really cool because when you expose this or show this to that cockpit, it looks kind of out of shape, but then as you look at it too, it's kind of like a bed almost. So that cockpit, they use cockpits in creative ways. I like how they used it here. It's exposed, kind of like you would see. It looks like a mech warrior kind of, style, BattleTech or whatever. You've got the missiles. You've got the adjustability there in the middle. Again, I don't mean to gripe. I absolutely love snap ships, but there's a few flaws in design, just a few. One of them is that when you connect two parts together, like just with that, you see how that's a round bit there instead of a square. So when you plug a square one into there, it's going to lock it into rotation. Like on the back of these greebles is a square piece. They don't rotate, but you can put one of these rotating bits in there, and when you plug it in, it's got a rotation to it. So he's got that. The problem is, as you can see, it's got a little bit of a bounce to it. It's fine. Don't get me wrong. I think that's kind of the nature of having not a rigid, these are hard plastic, but not a super rigid format for building. You've got a little room in there for wiggle, and so it goes up into there. So that happens, but it's just a bit of a gripe. You could easily, if you painted this, or if you, even airbrushed it, or I'm sorry, dry brushed it and stuff like that. By the time you got, some layers of, let's say, like a gloss coat or a flat coat on there, that would tighten up quite a bit, but eventually it would eventually get back to being loose. Just, again, a small gripe. It's not a big deal. I absolutely love this design, and that the arms here don't go all the way up. They're not super flexible because you have these parts buttoned up against each other. These will eventually grow loose, but these are just minor gripes. This is a fantastic design. Absolutely love it. I thought this was kind of funny that they engineered it to where the painted side here, you can see like the label side, was inside on the leg instead on the outside. I thought, was I doing it wrong or something? No, that part there that joins into the leg is permanently attached. So that's where it's supposed to go according to the instructions. And I thought that was weird. You think the label would go outside. So I actually moved these on the inside to kind of match it. But I think that the color should go out on the outside. It looks less. It looks a little bit more. It gives it a better face on the outside, if that makes sense. But again, you could easily put a sticker or paint or anything. As we're looking though for cool parts, you got a million of them. You got these cool hands. You see how the hands rotate? They do not have a square plug as well, like I was explaining earlier. See, it's a round plug, so you can plug that in there like that. And that grabs there, and then you have a very simple but very effective arm design. You could imagine what's cool about snapships too, since they have this hard plastic, is you can really picture drilling into it and putting wires, and you can really customize it. I haven't spent time to do it yet. I really should sometime, just because they're so fantastic looking as they are. I couldn't imagine how great they look painted. There's actually quite a bit of flexibility in it as well, just because of these simple joints, these really simple ball joints and stuff. It kind of reminds me of my Joy Toy mechs, which just have very simple designs. You could even go the backwards knee route if a lot of people prefer to do that. That look, which I kind of prefer that as well. Now that I'm looking at it, looks pretty cool. So there are some really neat universal parts in here that you could use all over. These greebles are fantastic. The feet are fantastic. He's just really fun to play with. The designs are simple enough that you could probably recreate dozens of variations on this, and they all look really good. So again, like I said, probably the only regret I have is that I didn't buy more of these, but snapships kits are always up for sale and around. So I don't know how much this one, I can't remember how much it was, but I don't know if that was actually the last one I got, because it had some real problems getting to me. And I think that was probably because it was I'll bet you that it was in pretty high demand. But of course we had the delays as well at the docks, as you know. If you don't know, like I said, look it up, educate yourself a little bit about where our toys come from. We need to know that stuff. Here's some of the little, what are they calling these parts, these new parts? I always forget. Uju Tech. So this is like their new tech. Oh, and I wanted to show you this. I broke down the box before streaming before filming the review, so I forgot. But this kind of gives you an idea of how I store a lot of my toy boxes. I usually break them down flat. Almost every toy box you're gonna get has a flat packed version like that. So they ship them to the company prints these boxes and ships them to the toy manufacturer or whatever, or the place where they're being put together, and of course they've got to be flat to be able to be shipped. They might even not even be flat, they might even be open, so you could even open that. But I always do that because I like to save my boxes, but I'm not one of those type of guys or girls or collectors or whatever you want to say who buys two of them, one to play with, one to, that's not how I am. I like to play with something. I like to get it out of the box and mess with it. I like toys as an object, you know, as a cultural thing, so I really want to play with them. So, but I really still want to hold the boxes, so I keep all of them, every one of my boxes for every one of my toys, unless they're just junk. I just keep them all like that. So that might give you kind of a neat idea. And of course, the stand that comes in the top is genius as usual. This one you're not going to probably worry about a stand as much. He's going to stand there, you know, as in literally just stand on your shelf, because it's a mech. It's not a ship. You don't necessarily need to fly it around. And it looks kind of odd when it's standing. It's a little bit too short. But again, it gives you an idea of if you needed to do that, you could. I guess you could turn it around or whatever. But still, it's because his legs are so long. So in general, you're just going to take him on the shelf and set him like that. But that's the Maul. That's pretty cool. I have been messing with it all day. As with any Snapships kit, you get a big one, and you're like, oh man, that's kind of big. That's going to take some time to build, because you're trained from like models. These guys literally take minutes, you know, 5-10 minutes to build. And that's what's so cool about it, is once you get them together, you've got a really nice design, but you know, that looks good as it is. But then you've got something that you can instantly just take apart and start messing with. You give them 4 arms, you can do whatever, and it's gonna look cool. It's just such a brilliant system. I'm so happy that these people made this company and are still selling new lines. I hope that they come out with a series 3. Is that what we're looking at? Series 4? I can't remember. I hope they come out with that and we get to explore that, because these are just fantastic. Buy them all. It's fantastic. If you get one, consider yourself lucky. It took me forever to get this one. So I'm hoping that after the holidays, after stuff cools off a bit, maybe we'll get more of these. Keep an eye on sales. I don't know if they're having a sale right now. If you want to go check at playmonster.com, Playmonster, that's where you should probably buy them. If not, go to Amazon or whatever. Try to go direct to Playmonster. I'm sure it's probably the best area that I've had, the best response for shipping and all that, and get you some of these. Fantastic. What a great kit. Look at that. Just a big honking dude. Take it easy, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.